Hello, everybody. Just giving it a second to connect here. Okay, I think I am live now. All right, so today we're going to be chatting all about how to work less and make more in 2023. This is something that I'm like super passionate about because the reason we all got into online business in the first place, well, most of us, is to not, sell our time in exchange for money, not spend all of our time working. We got into this to spend more time with our families, to travel more, whatever it may be. So I'm going to break down kind of what worked for us in 2022 in terms of working less and making more, and what we're planning to do in 2023 to really take it to the next level. So in 2022, we discovered repurposing for revenue. So this, you guys have all heard me talk about this before, but this is basically the key pillar of everything that we do. If you're going to create one piece of content, it's really senseless to not turn that one piece of content into multiple different things and spread it across the internet. You can create one piece of content and then share it everywhere. Watch it spread like wildfire. It gives you more probability to go viral. It gives you more options to connect with your audience. It gives people more places to find you. It's just really a no-brainer. So the biggest thing that we've done is we have taken our podcast content and turned it into a ton of different pieces of content across the board to really make sure that we're reaching our audience no matter where they are, because your audience could be hanging out on Facebook, they could be hanging out on YouTube, they could be podcast listeners, they could be on Pinterest, they could be anywhere. So you want to make sure that you're reaching them wherever they are hanging out. You don't want to leave an audience without you as an option. And you also want to make sure that you're always top of mind. So by repurposing the content, you're able to post on those places more frequently. So you're going to show up in the feed more. You're going to be able to connect with those people. They're going to see your stuff more. They're going to feel connected to you. They're going to build that know, like, and trust, and they're going to convert into students, clients, however you move people through your funnel. Okay, so when it comes to repurposing for revenue, another thing that we really honed in on this year was starting with what feels right, with what lights you up. Hold on, I got a message here. Make sure everything's okay. So starting with what really lights you up. So that could be starting with a blog post. It could be starting with a YouTube video. It could be starting with a podcast. It could be any number of things. Whatever form of content that you find the easiest to create, if you really enjoy running Facebook posts, if you really like doing stories, if you really like recording videos, if you really like going live, whatever it is that feels the easiest to you, that is the pillar piece of content that you should start with. So how does that break down? How does that look? So if you're doing a Facebook post, this is a less common one, so I'll do that one. So if you're doing a Facebook post, what you're going to do is you're going to write out that Facebook post, you're going to make your graphic, you're going to do everything you normally do. You're then going to use that content idea as the starting place for all of these other pieces of content. Okay, so I recommend doing a live or a video first, because that is the easiest for me. And also, you're not having to like write things out and then go in and talk. I find it easier to talk. Some people find it easier to write. So we're going to go with that option. So if you're writing a piece of content, you're going to write it out. You're going to see all of those key components that you want in there. And then you're going to record a video expanding upon that piece of content, right? So you're going to break it down and you're going to turn it into 15 or 30 minutes. It doesn't even have to be that long. It can be a 10-minute kind of episode. Totally fine. But once you have it as a piece of video content, you're then able to turn it into a podcast, into a YouTube video, into YouTube Shorts, into idea pins, into TikToks, into Reels, into all of these video assets that we know are needed on the internet in order to build your business, grow your audience, all of those things. Okay, so start with what lights you up, and then use that as inspiration for all of these other pieces of content. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. People are not going to get sassy with you if they see that you've posted similar content on two platforms. Odds are they aren't even going to see it on two platforms, and I can do a whole another live about that later. So that's the first two things. Repurpose your content and start with a piece of content that lights you up, brings you joy, and feels the least amount overwhelming. Okay. And then the third thing that's really worked for us this year is we have started doing more micro products. Okay. So what this basically means is that we have broken down our mastermind into smaller things that are more digestible and more affordable for people. And I have all of the links to those. They're still at the Black Friday pricing. So I have not switched them over yet. So if you want to get last chance, get in on that, let me know and I will share those with you. But by breaking these things down, we were able to really meet people where they are and give them one specific solution for one specific problem. And I think as we move into 2023, that's going to be a trend. People are going to want, instead of joining a mastermind that's a higher ticket, with how the economy is and all of that, we won't get into that nonsense, but people are going to want a smaller cost option that gives them the exact solution that they're looking for, that isn't full of, pretty words and fluff and big ideas. It is really fine-tuned and focused on what exactly they need. So if they want to relaunch their podcast, boom, here's the product. If they want to learn how to repurpose their content into TikToks, boom, here's the product. So I think as we go into 2023 and we continue to see what the economy is doing, as we continue to recover from the pandemic and all of those things, I think that having smaller ticket options is going to be really big and really important. And you guys showed us through the end of year sale that you were really excited about that. So we were going to keep that option moving forward. Okay, so that's kind of what worked in 2022. There's some other things, but those are the key points. Okay, so in 2023, here's what we're doing. I have always said that I want to time block my schedule. This year I'm actually doing it. My youngest is in school 4 days a week now, only for 3 hours a day, but good enough. And then she will start kindergarten in August. So I've decided I'm finally going to block out my schedule. I'm assigning a specific time to specific tasks within the business, outside of the business, self-care, all of those things, so that if I know that if it doesn't have a time assigned, it's not going to get done. So by assigning these blocks of time on my Google Calendar, I'm able to kind of make sure that all of the non-negotiables in my life and in my business are getting done, and I don't have to try to squeeze them in somewhere. And when fires happen and, life happens, that's okay. Like, we can skip those things for that day, but I'm really going to try to stay committed to the time block and make sure that I don't snooze those Google Calendar reminders and actually do things as they're coming up. This also really helps me stay focused on one task. I tend to squirrel and want to go do all of the things. And so having it time blocked and having specific tasks for each day of the week and having goals for each month really helps me stay focused. Okay, the second thing for 2023 is you will see Jen in here commenting, and I just hired her to kind of help us with the sales and connecting with people and marketing and all of that. So if you have any questions about our programs or anything like that, not only can you reach out to me and Shannon, you can also reach out to Jen and she will help you. And that is going to be huge for the business because I am just not a person who loves going through groups and commenting. I love to come in here and talk to you guys. I love to give everybody the gems and the words of wisdom and all of that good stuff, but I am not someone who just loves to scroll through Facebook groups. I try to stay off of social media as much as possible. So having her in here to kind of network within groups and meet new people and bring new people into our community is going to be amazing. Yes, we do have a website. It is having issues right now, so I am planning on getting that updated tomorrow. It is just allthingspodcasting.com. And the domain is having issues, so I'm getting that updated, and then it should be live again by tomorrow afternoon. But if you have any questions in the meantime, send me a message, and I will get you whatever information you need. Okay, so time blocking and hiring going into 2023. The third thing that I'm super excited about is AI. So we're already using a program that uses a lot of AI. It's called Descript. That's what we use to edit the podcast, edit video, and also transcribe. So it's using AI to transcribe things. You're able to like overdub and change, like type things out and have it said in your voice. It's amazing. Best tool ever. Um, but we're going to be looking into more AI options. This is going to be huge in 2023. It just makes it so much easier to take that piece of content and turn it into all of these micro pieces of content. Because basically, what these AI platforms are going to ask you for is something like your transcript from your podcast. So you're able to speak it out, get it all out there, and then grab snippets from that transcript that define the main points, drop it into the AI, and it will come up with copy for you for social posts, for show notes, for YouTube descriptions, for titles for your podcast, for titles for your YouTube, like all of the things, so that you don't have to spin your wheels and try to figure out what text you want to put with all of these assets. So we're going to be testing that out on our own podcast, on our client's podcast, and then you know how I do around here. I learn it and then I teach it. So as we're going through this, all of these programs are fairly new. So as I'm going through this, I'm going to be learning a lot. I'll be coming in this group and sharing what I'm learning with you. And then of course we will have a micro product ready for you guys hopefully by this summer, showing you how to use these AI programs to take your big piece of macro content and more easily turn it into all of the other things. We've already made it easy by giving you that transcript and you can just pull things from that. But if you can take that transcript, drop it into AI, and it formats it, makes it beautiful for you, it's just that much easier. And that's what we're all about around here. So I would love to hear from you all. What worked for you in 2022 that you're carrying into 2023? What are your big plans, goals, all of that for 2023? And what are you planning to do in 2023 to work less and make more? Because that is what we're all about around here. So let me know in the comments, reach out through DMs. Y'all know where to find me, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. I should be back in here next Tuesday at the same time. So if you have something specific you want me to talk about, just let me know. All right, see y'all later.